From CNBC World Headquarters, join the community of entrepreneurs living the American dream in this special edition of The Big Idea. Go for the dream. Here's your host, Donnie Deutsch.
Welcome to The Big Idea. I am Donnie Deutsch. Okay, if you love what you do, when I mean you're in bed tonight, you can't wait to get up tomorrow morning, you love your job, you're fulfilled, it's your dream, you are living the dream, you actually don't need to watch the show. But if you like what you do, or don't even like what you do, or hate what you do, I don't care if you're making a lot of money, if you're not going after your dream, if you're not doing what you love, this is the right show, because tonight we're going to give you the courage, we're going to give you the tools to get past the obstacles, because it's very hard when you're working, if you're making good money, to just chuck it in and say, I'm going to do this. But people do it, and they are living the dream, and there are going to be no excuses at the end of tonight's show. First person that's living the dream, Seth Goldman, founder of Honest Tea. How you doing, man?
Good to see you, Donnie. Good to be here.
Good. Okay. First of all, let me ask the audience, how many people out there really, really love what you do? Love. Okay, you got a few, but not most, and most people don't, unfortunately. You're a man who found what you love, and you actually were in an investment banking job.
I was comfortable.
Pick it up there. Tell me about your job. Tell me about before you got into
Before I did this, I was working for a mutual fund company. They specialized in socially responsible investing, so I was able to live out some of my values and making good money and rising quickly.
Good job. Good money.
No complaints.
How'd you feel getting up in the morning?
I was happy to get up every morning.
Were you excited? Were you thrilled?
I was happy. I was absolutely happy. I was.
So what the hell are you doing on the show?
Because now I'm on fire. Now I can't sleep.
There's a difference. Okay, you weren't living the dream.
Yeah.
You were okay. You're making a living.
Exactly.
Good. But what was pulsating inside of you?
I knew that I could do something more. It was part of a big company, and I said, I want to create something. And I also, as much as I was able to do things with my values, I said, I want to be cutting edge. I want to do stuff that makes people go, whoa, that's pretty wild.
That's the fire. That's when you can't sleep at night.
Yeah.
So where'd you get the idea for Honest Tea? I love Honest Tea. You're going on $25 million. It's a fantastic brand, but you're working in this investment company. So where the hell did this come from?
I was thirsty. I was literally thirsty. I do a lot of exercise, and I'm out there running every day, and I would come home after a run or go at lunch, and I'd go to a cooler, and there'd be tons of sweet drinks and tons of watery drinks and nothing that I wanted. I said, I got to create something. And then I had this idea about, especially when the name Honest Tea, my co-founder had this name, and I said, boy, that means I can do more than just sell tea. I can think about organic, I can think about fair trade, about healthier products.
It's a brand.
Yeah, it's a brand, it's a life,
So how did you, but I want to understand, you're going to work every day.
Yeah.
You go, okay, there's no tea out there. The premise of your tea is basically just no sweetness. It is, I'm a user of your product, and it is Honest Tea. You drink it and you go, this is tea.
Yeah.
But you're working for a living.
Yeah.
You got kids.
I got kids.
You got mortgages.
Yep. Yeah. We just had our third son.
Most people at that point are like, they have the dream over their head, but you can't kind of go for it because how the hell are you going to go for it?
There's never a right time to go for it. We just had our third son, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to try something, I'm going to try it.
So did you start to percolate the idea while you were working for the company?
Exactly. My co-founder was my professor from business school. We had talked about the ideas, but I remember the most intimidating moment was when I went to go, resign at Calvert, where I worked, and I called Barry up on the phone. I said, okay, I'm going in there. I'm, about to leave this very good, promising, career. But we've never made the tea before. I said, you sure we can make this? And there's this long pause on the other end of the phone. I didn't want to hear the pause. He says, I bet you they'd let you go on sabbatical or if you wanted to. And I said, no, if I'm doing it, I'm doing it. And, I was doing very well at this company. I knew that if it didn't work out at all, you got other options.
You had a situation where you had a little financial cushion.
A bit, yeah.
But the tough obstacle is you were making a lot of money.
Yeah.
To leave that behind.
Yeah.
So how'd you get that courage to go into your boss?
Yeah.
What did you say to her at the time?
I went in, I said, look, I love it here. You're a great boss. This is a great company, but I've got something in me. I've got to get out, and I've got to try this.
And what'd she say to you?
And she said, well, and what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to, start a beverage company. And she says, and have you any experience? What do you mean? I said, I'm ready to give it a try. And I had no, the only experience I had was drinking beverages, which was...
By the way, that's the best experience. No experience is best because he didn't know what he didn't know, and that's why you ended up being successful.
That's
so
right.
What'd she say to you?
She said, well, look I believe in you. I believed in you here. I'll believe in you. And she actually was one of our first investors, so I give her a lot of credit for supporting us.
There you go. But how did you take the steps? You have an ongoing job, because a lot of people watching at home, and they're getting up, and they're making good money, and they're supporting the thing. And how did you, when did you know was the right time, or what gave you the courage, or what were the tools you put in place to say, okay, I can make the jump now.
Yeah.
Here's my time frame. Here's what I got going.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I started talking to people as soon as the idea hit me, I started talking to people, and I can't tell you how many people said, yeah, you know what? I don't drink any of that tea either because it's all too sweet. I mean, it was just everyone. It was so obvious once you start talking to people. I said, there's enough just of the people I'm talking to.
So the first thing you knew, you got a sense there was a market. You got a sense there was a need.
You got to throw the idea around.
But you had never made tea before.
In my kitchen.
In your kitchen. So now you quit your job.
Yeah. So
you get up the next morning. Are you making in your pants, or are you feeling excited about this, right? What's going on there?
Yeah, well, you know, I didn't sleep that first night anyway, so I was up early. I started writing the business plan, threw around some ideas, and started brewing tea in the kitchen. And so, you know, just, all right, I like this tea. This tastes good cold. This one doesn't taste good cold. Started putting together label ideas, branding ideas. And, you know, my first sale was out of thermoses. I made 5 thermoses of tea, brought them to a Whole Foods office. And
literally, so now, right now, you've quit your job.
Oh, yeah.
You made 5 thermoses of tea. Here's the big production, right? You're winging it. You're really rocking and rolling here.
Well, I had an empty Snapple bottle, and I put some. We got an artist to do. We pasted some labels on either side of it, and
this is a $25 million business. Go back once again. Leaves his job, takes his 5 thermoses, takes a Snapple bottle. You took the label off.
Yeah.
This is American enterprise at best. Take the label off. Put your label on. Yeah. You designed the label. How much did it cost you to design a label?
We had a designer who did it for about $2,500, but we gave him some equity. So actually, he did pretty well on it. He made, you know, $30,000 just on the equity.
That's a great tool at the beginning. You give away a point, 2 points, 3 points, and that's the way you get all this stuff for nothing. Yeah. So how'd you make that first sale, though?
Got to Whole Foods, and I said, you know, this is what your shelf is like. You got all these sweet drinks, you got all these watery drinks. This is what honest tea is. And I had the bottle, and he says, you know what? I'll give it a try, but you never sold this product before. I want you to give it to me for free, and then after that, I'll start paying for it. And I said, boy, I appreciate that opportunity, but, you know, these thermoses aren't even mine. Barry loaned me the thermoses. I got this empty Snapple bottle. I can't pay for that, you know. So he paused, because that's pretty, you know, what he offered.
Most people, I actually would have said give it to him for free at that point, but okay.
Or a lot of times you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
But I was being honest. He says, all right, we'll take it. And we sold the first cases in, and we kept selling. We're now the best-selling tea in the Whole Foods chain.
I love it. People love it. How great is that? People love giving the new kid a chance.
Yeah,
Really, we keep hearing that on the show. Don't be embarrassed about being the new kid on the block and saying, hey, I need some help.
I give them a lot of credit. I give that buyer a lot of credit. Yeah.
Really. How did you feel? Because I want to start to get people excited about maybe going on their own. Typical day at work when you were working at Calvert, the investment firm, versus this first day selling the stuff. You got no income coming in. What's the difference of the sensation?
You feel so alive. It is just pulsing through you. I mean, and like I say, I love Calvert. It's a great place, but this is, my skin tingles when I get up in the morning, and I can't wait. And you know, sometimes a 12-hour day is just not enough time. And the best thing is,
it's not work. It's not work.
Yeah.
And this is a guy who's making big bucks. That's the key. I mean, do you hear the words he used? On fire. Yeah. Tingle.
And the really exciting thing is we got employees who feel the same way. And that's really exciting.
And you have 3 children.
3 children, 3
And this is another child, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
This is the one that keeps me up at night.
So what do we say to people out there? Because your example is somebody, because we're going to give a lot of examples tonight, people who went for it. Yeah. You're an example of somebody who actually kind of had something to lose. Yeah. You were making big money. So what do you say to people who kind of have a good job, have this other thing going? How do we get them going?
You really got to go for it. There's no way it's going to happen by, you got to think to a certain point, but then you got to act. And, you know, whether it was that buyer at Whole Foods, the investors, even my former boss, they're not going to take the leap of faith with you, not to mention employees, unless you are all the way committed.
All right, Seth, I know we got a question for you. Tracy, you got a question for Seth?
I do. First of all, I want to tell you I'm a big fan of your tea. The orange mango is my favorite.
Awesome.
And I have a question for you. After being in the corporate world for as long as you were and having that financial security, how did you first take that leap to starting your own business?
You know, it's tough because you gotta do it on the paper. You gotta figure out what you need to pay yourself. And I did pay myself a salary. Basically, I had sort of $50,000 that I had saved. And that was my salary the first year. So, and I actually had to pull out taxes, so I actually made less than that.
By the way, you were taking less home. Happiest year of your life, though, correct?
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Not about the money, kids.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
I mean, money's great. You want the money, and the money's a fun way of keeping score.
Yeah.
But there's something else going on here,
Absolutely.
isn't there?
And then the long term, but both what you're building in your heart, but also on your balance sheet. You know.
All right, Seth Goldman, man, he is a poster boy for a guy living his dream, going for it. Founder of Honest Tea. When we come back, once again, If you're living that dream already, if you love what you're doing, a lot of shows on the F500 channels, you don't need to be here. But if you're not psyched to get up tomorrow morning, we're going to get you there. We're going to help you find your dream, give you the tools to get past the obstacles, because there's no reason to live life any other way. Don't go anywhere.